Stampers, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you for another little demo. And today we're still working on our Christmas cards, and today we're going to be working with our sweet little stockings. Now, I just love this one. I have 6 dogs whom I love more than life itself, and as soon as I saw this, I knew that I was going to be working with this to create some really cute Christmas cards this year. So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes to see if anybody else hops on. If you're here, go ahead and let me know you're here, because I will enter you into a drawing to win the cards that we will be making this evening. So I usually pull those. I usually raffle them off around Monday, give people the weekend to catch up. So just go ahead and let me know that you're here. So as usual, we're going to do 2 of our cards. And I just wanted to say that next Thursday, the 11th, I am having a Christmas Stamp-A-Stack here in my home studio. I have 2 sessions, either 9:30 to 11:30 or 1 to 3. The information and the RSVP is on my Stampin' with Crafty Klock Facebook page, or if you are on my mailing list, I will be mailing out that information later today or tomorrow. I just ask that you register so that I can have the cards packets all cut and ready for you. But it'll be a fun little day, a couple of hours for us to get together and craft together. And I promise you it'll be fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do 2 cards featuring our sweet little stockings. The first one is going to be a simple stamping card. We've just used our stamps, inks, and paper, and I did use a couple of punches. But I think even with a beginning stamper, you could still create this card. If you don't have any punches, you could just cut this out as a rectangular piece and stick it right on there. And then we're going to get a little bit more involved. We're going to use some of the matching dies. We're going to use the little doggy die. That reminds me of a little golden Oliver, whom I love more than life itself. And then we're just going to go ahead and keep working and using our dies to build up this scene. So let's go ahead. Let's start with our simple stamping card. We're going to start with a base of Cherry Cobbler, and I have lost my Cherry Cobbler stamp pad. I had it out earlier, and now it is gone, gone, gone. So we are going to, excuse me, just kind of regroup here for a minute, and we're going to put some new colors in here. Since I'm using the Pool Party on the back, on the front, I'm going to use the Pool Party for my inside. And I think, what did I stamp on the inside? I don't even remember now what I stamped on the inside. I stamped Very Merry. So let's grab our Very Merry stamp, and I'm going to grab one of my Stampin' Pierce mats, because these are our photopolymer stamps, so we need to have a little bit of a cushion underneath when we use these. So I always like to pull in my Stampin' Pierce mat. These are in our catalog. They are like $5, but it's a very useful little tool to have. So we've got our Very Merry stamped in our Pool Party, and then I'm going to stamp another Golden Retriever head. Stamp my Ollie boy. His full name is Oliver Joseph, in case you were wondering. We always give our dogs middle names. So we have Chloe Elizabeth, Mia Catherine, Oliver Joseph, Emma Jade, Trooper Blue, and Remington Bean. And the Bean is a tribute to his mom. He was a part of the Bean litter, so we had to keep the Bean in his name somehow. So it helps if you take off the cover. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with our little demo here. And we're just going to put this down. Remember, I always say stamp then stick, because if you make a mistake, you can always flip it over and try again. You can also hold off, and maybe you don't want to use this as a Christmas card. Maybe you want to use this as a birthday card or a get well card. Your choice. You can just leave the inside blank. Don't stamp it, don't stick it until you decide what you want to do with it. All right. Excuse me. So as I said, our base is Cherry Cobbler, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is 3 by 4. And I have a piece of Old Olive that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and layer these up. And it's so easy when you have really pretty and fun Designer Series paper, or DSP, as we like to call it, because it makes creating your cards so easy. And I love how Really with Stampin' Up, everything is color coordinated. So when you buy the Designer Series paper, and let me show you the pack. As most of you know, all of our Designer Series paper is two-sided, but it always tells you what the coordinating colors are. So for the Sweet Stockings DSP, it's Basic Black, Bumblebee, Cherry Cobbler, Cinnamon Cider, Evening Evergreen, Old Olive, and Pool Party. So it's so easy to coordinate everything because they tell you right there what colors you need. So you never have to guess, do I want this green? Do I want this red? They tell you, and it's so easy to just pull out all the colors that coordinate and create beautiful cards really in minutes. So that's what I love about Stampin' Up. One of the many things, but I do love their ease of color coordination. Now I'm going to put this on just a little bit of an angle. Oops, before I do that, I can't find my Cherry Cobbler, but I did want to stamp some Santa hats on here in a random pattern. And I like to do a lot of tone on tone. When I don't have my tone on tone, Versamark to the rescue. Now it goes on kind of light. It will get darker as it dries. And I'm just going to kind of stamp these on there in a random pattern. Let me pull back my Stampin' Pierce mat. I could already see I didn't get a good image there because I didn't have my Stampin' Pierce mat. And you can see as I'm going along, some of the ones I did early on, they're starting to get darker. Okay, and this was just to give this card front a little bit more interest. Okay, we're not really going to do too much, and there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. It's however and wherever you want. But like I said, as that Versamark ink dries, those images will get darker. All right, now we're ready to put this on. I'm going to put it on at just a little bit of an angle. I want to make sure that it doesn't overhang my sides. But see, those Santa hats give it just enough of a contrast to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. And you know what? I think I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put one more right up there, a partial one right there. So let's go right there. Perfect. Okay. Then I took a Pool Party tag. This is 2 inches by about 3 1/4. I punched the top with our scalloped tag topper, and then I rounded the corners with our corner punch, or it's the triple with a tri punch. It's got 3 different elements to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this in Pool Party, and we're going to stamp Santa Paws is Coming to Town. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to come back in here with my little Santa hat again. Now, normally I would use my Cherry Cobbler because that matches. However, my Cherry Cobbler ink pad is MIA. Don't know where it is. I'm sure I'll find it in about 2 minutes. But I'm just going to go ahead and stamp a little Santa hat right there. Okay, so there we go. So that was in real red. It doesn't look too terribly bright, which I like. So I think doing it on the Pool Party kind of helped tone it down. So that was good. And then we're going to take a little piece of ribbon, probably about 4 inches, maybe 4.5 inches. I'm just going to cut it. All right. Then I'm going to feed it through the little hole on top. You could do it front to back, back to front. It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And then we're just going to pull it through that loop and pull it up. There we go. And then I'm just going to secure this on here with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Probably about 4 because it's kind of wide. So I'm just going to put these on very quickly. And there we have our simple stamping card. We've done nothing more than stamps, ink, and paper, and a couple of punches. But again, you don't have to do punches. You could certainly just do this as a rectangular label, and it would be fine. So card number 1 done. Let's go ahead and work on card number 2. So for this one, we're going to use an old olive base, again, 8.5 by 4.5, scored, sorry, I can't even think today, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little sentiment to the inside. And this one says, peace, joy, and kisses, with a line of the little X's underneath for our kisses. And we're just going to go ahead and stamp that. There we go. And then we can go ahead and put this on the inside of our card. All right. I just started a brand new roll of Stampin' Seal. Okay, here we go. So if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and put like hashtag replay and let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where people are watching from. Okay, so we've got that. Now we've got a piece of our designer series paper. This is 4 by 5.25, and I'm sorry, the inside, the basic white, again, was also 4 by 5.25. We're going to go ahead and add this to our front, and I don't really think it makes a difference if it goes like that or like that. It's really whichever way you like. I don't believe there's a right way and a wrong way for it. So again, just do what you like. These are your creations. You know, you could case somebody, but make it yours. You know, you might change up the colors. You might change up the layout a little bit. They're yours. They should reflect you and your personality. Then I cut out a piece from Cherry Cobbler. I cut out one of these tags. Let me show you the dies that come with this set. So here's the beauty. This is this beautiful stitched tag die that we cut right there. We're going to stamp on a piece of crumb cake. I'm going to stamp, again, that golden retriever face, and I'm going to stamp it in our soft suede because I wanted to be able to see the lines and give him a little bit of distinction. So we're going to just stamp him right there on our crumb cake. Then we're going to take our golden retriever head die. It's so funny. And we're going to just put it, match up the image, and roll it through our stamp, cut, and emboss. And when we do, we come out with our stamped golden retriever head, if I can find it. There you go. So I'll save that one for another card. Then you've got 3 different sizes of stockings. You've also got, let me show you what we've cut out. So you've got a die cut for the golden retriever, the kitty cat, and I guess that's a gerbil or a hamster. You've got the present dies, the candy cane. I think we have a Santa hat die. We've got a couple of miscellaneous stars. I don't think we have a Santa hat. I thought we did. Oh, we do have the Santa hat. Stars, the candy cane. Like I said, the 3 stockings. And the 3 stockings will also, the larger one, will also cut out the stockings from the designer series paper. So if you have the designer series paper, this will cut out those large stockings perfectly. And that's what we're going to use for this card. You've also got, if you want to do, like, cut your own stockings, you've got the accents for the toe and the heel. These are the toe and the heel for the stockings. You've got the cuff for the stockings. You've got holly leaves and holly berries, just some assorted leaves. These also cut out these images in here. They cut out the candy cane, like the evergreen leaf and these leaves. So you've got a lot of options. You've also got a bow that you can cut out, and we've cut that out on this card. We've cut out the larger and the smaller presents. So there are a lot of dies that you can use and mix and match. So if you haven't gotten this one yet, you're going to want it before much longer because, hello, it's November. You know, I mean, we're going to blink. It's going to be Thanksgiving. We're going to blink again, and it's going to be Christmas and then New Year. So, you know, the time seems to go by on warp speed this time of year. So we've got some of our components there. We've got this. Let's go ahead and put the stocking on our card. Okay. we're going to hang that a little bit. I've got my little Oliver here, and we're going to put that on I pulled up 2, so now I'm going to have to use 2. I was going to try to do 1. We're going to put him on some dimensionals and just put him so he's peeking right over the stocking. How cute is that? Okay, now we're ready to put this on our card. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. So here we go. We're ready to put this on our card. Now I've cut out 2 presents. I've cut out the small present, and I used the dies. I cut out the present from the Designer Series paper, and I flipped it over, and I cut out the bows from the same paper. And then for the larger present, I again cut this from our Designer Series paper, and then I cut a bow out of that bumblebee. And we're going to go ahead and put that on. Now, I don't know if you have ever worked with the fine tip glue pen. When you're working with glue, it's great to have the silicone mat. Things don't stick to it, and it prevents your surface from getting all mucked up. Literally just a dot of the glue. That's all you're really going to need. We're going to put that on there right over kind of where the bow is. Now I'm going to use one of my brushes here so I don't get my fingers all messed up with glue. All right, while that's sort of setting just for a minute, I'm going to go ahead and put the top in. Now there's a pin in here that it's kind of a pain in the neck, I'm not going to lie. The pin goes into the tube. If you can get it to go back in to help it, to prevent it from clogging up. Easier said than done. But maybe, all right, it's not going to work right now. We'll finish that later. All right, let's go ahead and put our presents on the card. Okay, we've got this one here. We've got this one here. Okay, we got some presents there. Now we're going to come in here. I have a piece of basic white. This is like 1 inch by about 3.5 inches. And we are going to stamp our greeting on there. And we're going to stamp Christmas greetings. We're going to do that in our old olive. Okay, so this is a little bit more involved than our simple stamping card, wouldn't you say? All right, there we go. We've got our Christmas greetings. Now, I'm going to take a dauber because I wanted to give, the white was too stark for me, so I wanted to give it a little bit more color. So I took a dauber and I just kind of went over the edge of my label. And that adds just a little bit of color. Okay, I think gives it just a little bit more interest. But again, these are your cards. This is a very old dauber. It's starting to shred. Time to buy some new ones. But it'll work for this demo. That one is done. Let me just wipe up my work surface real quick. All right, let's get all that gunky stuff out of there. Okay, I'm going to put this back in here for a minute just so I can keep my surface kind of clean. All right, now I'm going to put on my Christmas greetings. I'm going to, again, use dimensionals for this. Put about 3 on there. And now I couldn't find my jewels, so I wanted to add some jewels. So when I find my rhinestones, I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a couple of rhinestones here just to give it a little bit of bling. You could certainly take, if you wanted to, a little bit more shimmer and shine, you could take your Wink of Stella and kind of just maybe go over those bows. Give some shine to your presents and your bows. I don't think I'd give shine to my puppy, but I would definitely give shine to the presents and the bows. Let's just go ahead and do that, because who doesn't love a little bit of sparkle and glitter at the holidays? Okay, so there you have it. Those are our 2 cards for the evening. The stepped up version with our sweet little stockings, and our basic stamping version with our simple stamping version with, again, the sweet little stockings. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Stampin' with Crafty Clock. I'll see you all next week. Have a good evening, my friends. Bye.